In the infinite dark sea of space, far beyond the last whisper of sunlight, a lone traveler drifts silently. It isn't a ship crewed by astronauts or a probe on a return mission. It's Voyager 2, humanity's messenger launched nearly half a century ago. For most, Voyager 2 is simply a relic, a fading voice sending back whispers from the outer edge of the void. Yet something has changed. Something impossible has stirred in the silence. For decades, the probe's journey through the interstellar medium was uneventful. Just particles, magnetic fields, and the quiet breath of cosmic radiation. Then, the silence broke. Something moved. Something deliberate. Something that was never supposed to be there. When the data first arrived on Earth, scientists assumed it was nothing more than a blip. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory flagged an unusual spike in the plasma wave data, lasting only seconds. These instruments are designed to measure faint particle densities and magnetic field shifts, nothing more. But this spike carried a rhythm. It pulsed, repeating in a way that felt intentional, as though a pattern was hiding within the numbers. At first, engineers blamed interference, maybe a glitch from cosmic rays, or the toll of time on Voyager's aging systems. Yet when the same pulse returned stronger, it became undeniable. The data wasn't noise. It was a broadcast. Voyager 2 had recorded something it was never designed to hear. As the information was processed and cleaned, the true scope of the anomaly emerged. Roughly 500,000 kilometers away from the probe, an object was moving at a velocity that made no sense. There were no known natural bodies in that region, no comets or rogue planets to explain it. And yet, whatever this was, it wasn't drifting aimlessly. Its trajectory was adjusting, subtle shifts that mirrored Voyager's own path. It was following. Like a predator shadowing its prey, it maintained just enough distance to remain unseen, yet close enough to track every movement. Independent observatories were brought in, along with military tracking stations. The confirmation sent waves of unease through every involved party. The magnetometer readings, the fluctuations in plasma density, even minute irregularities in Voyager's gyroscope all converged on the same conclusion. Voyager 2 wasn't alone. Something was out there. Something watching. Then came the most unsettling revelation. Embedded within the probe's routine telemetry was an additional packet of data, something Voyager wasn't programmed to transmit. When decrypted, the packet revealed binary strings that, when visualized, formed patterns. These weren't random. They looked deliberate: spirals, intersections, recursive loops. Some compared them to ancient glyphs, others to the symmetry of crop circles etched across fields on Earth. Linguists and AI systems worked through the data, running contextual models and probability algorithms. The verdict was chilling. The structure of the transmission aligned with what one would expect from an intentional signal, not one produced by Voyager but by something else. Something that had inserted itself into the stream. The debate split the scientific community. Some hailed it as the long-awaited confirmation that humanity is not alone. Others felt only dread, interpreting it as surveillance or a warning. Worse still, older readings from Voyager 1, dismissed months earlier as static interference, now showed similar irregularities when re-examined. Perhaps, some feared, whatever this was, it had been watching longer than we imagined, quietly embedded in the background of our universe, waiting. Voyager 2 continued transmitting. The Deep Space Network picked up a raw stream of electromagnetic fluctuations unlike anything ever catalogued. Analysts at first suspected background interference, but when they enhanced the waveforms, structure revealed itself. The signal pulsed with mathematical precision, harmonics woven into its core. Fourier analysis exposed something haunting. A mirror of the hydrogen frequency, the fundamental note of the cosmos, but inverted, altered, as though rewritten by an intelligence. It wasn't natural. It wasn't chance. It was deliberate. The signal wasn't simply a noise in the void. It was a voice. And it was speaking directly through Voyager. Something out there had noticed our probe. And in the vast silence between stars, it had answered, digging through forgotten archives, A young intern at NASA unearthed decades-old telemetry logs from Voyager 1. What seemed like routine data at first soon revealed something unsettling. When compared with Voyager 2's recent findings, a disturbing alignment appeared. In the very same stretch of interstellar space, separated by decades of time, Voyager 1 had recorded a brief but nearly identical anomaly. Back then, it was brushed aside as static interference. But with fresh eyes and advanced AI decoding tools, the distortion was reanalyzed. The waveform matched Voyager 2's signal with uncanny precision. This was no coincidence. The evidence suggested that both probes had encountered the same phenomenon. And if that were true, then humanity had been noticed long before anyone dared to admit. Modern simulations only deepened the mystery. The anomaly's movement didn't behave like a comet or asteroid, bound by predictable arcs of gravity. Instead, its trajectory seemed to bend unnaturally, as if space itself were being manipulated to conceal it. Attempts to model its path with known physics failed again and again. Stranger still, it accelerated and slowed at will, hovering just beyond the reach of optical detection. The behavior was not random, it was reactive, shifting only in response to Voyager's transmissions. Scientists began to ask a chilling question. What if Voyager 2 hadn't discovered the object at all? What if it had provoked it? As the probe drifted further, its magnetometer began picking up violent fluctuations in magnetic fields, rapid surges that defied explanation. Around the world, conspiracy theories exploded, claiming this was proof of contact with an interstellar intelligence. Then came a leak. A former engineer released an internal report suggesting the anomaly's field distortions bore eerie similarities to the energy signatures predicted by theoretical warp drives. The patterns resembled toroidal structures, the kind expected if spacetime itself were being folded. Voyager may have stumbled onto a technology far beyond human comprehension. And the readings weren't fading. They were growing stronger, pulsing with increasing intensity, resonating with a truth humanity could no longer deny. We were not alone. We never had been. Meanwhile, Earth itself began to feel the echoes. Radio observatories in Chile, South Africa, and Australia detected faint, repeating frequencies buried in the cosmic background. At first, they seemed insignificant, but analysts noticed something impossible. The echoes pulsed in synchronization with Voyager 2's deep space transmissions, delayed by the exact intervals of interstellar travel time. It was as though the signal was being mirrored back across vast distances. The discovery became known within classified circles as the phantom pulse. Attempts to triangulate the source failed, but the implication was clear. The anomaly was not localized, it was projecting its presence across multiple regions of space, as though testing humanity's perception. The pattern was not just intelligent, it was deliberate. It seemed designed to reveal itself only when humanity was advanced enough to notice. That raised the most disturbing question of all. Why now? Voyager 2 had been traveling in silence for decades, its mission expected to fade into cosmic obscurity. Yet the anomaly chose this exact moment to respond, just as artificial intelligence, quantum decryption, and advanced astrophysical modeling reached maturity on Earth. Was this coincidence, or had it been waiting, watching for us to evolve to this point? Governments moved swiftly. Media blackouts silenced the story before it spread too far. Independent observatories reporting anomalies were quietly shut down, their equipment seized or repurposed. Research groups that had worked on decoding the signals were abruptly reassigned, their projects classified. Behind locked doors, the discussion no longer centered on what the anomaly was, but why it had finally chosen to reveal itself. Had Voyager triggered first contact? Or had humanity awakened something ancient, something never meant to be found? Voyager 2 was supposed to be a messenger, a fading relic carrying humanity's signature into the cosmos. Instead, it became the spark of a revelation that overturned our illusion of solitude. The strange movement, the mirrored frequencies, the encoded patterns, all of it defied explanation. And all of it pointed to one undeniable truth. Something is out there. Not in a distant galaxy, not billions of light years away, but lingering within the shadows of our own celestial neighborhood. Watching. Waiting. The most chilling detail wasn't that they had responded, it was that they had chosen the moment of response with precision. Not when Voyager first launched, not when it crossed Neptune, not even when it left the heliosphere. But now, when humanity finally had the tools to understand. The question has shifted. It is no longer whether we are alone. It is what exactly we have just awakened, and whether we were ever meant to. The next signal could arrive at any time. And when it does, it may not simply expand our knowledge of the universe. It may redefine what it means to